Possibly, which is their kind of corporate arm, and they can explain it. But I think from time to time, I saw Stacy Dixon and Aaron Dixon down at the change of command, and we were chatting, and I know a lot of good things have been going on up there, and I think from time to time it's very good that we had the opportunity to hear from other members of the community on what they're doing, because we're a relatively small community, and if we don't all work together and work towards the same goals, we're never going to achieve a lot of successes. So at any rate, I'm very happy to invite the Rancheria here, and Stacy, you can introduce yourself. You probably know virtually everybody in the room and so on, but thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to come and kind of bring us up to date on what's going on.
Well, thank you. It's an honor being here today. It's the first time come to a county board. I don't know if our past chair or our councilman have been to this forum before, but as for me, it's always great to give an update on the Susan Millennium Rancheria.
I've always enjoyed working with you and the rest of the folks in the tribe. So thank you.
And I have our Secretary Treasurer Aaron Dixon here too. And when we get to that point of the circle update, he'll give us a spill on that.
Yeah, as much time as you like.
Yeah. Well, we'll try to keep it there as minimum because you got a busy agenda too. So.
Thank you.
But for you that don't know me, I'm Stacy Dixon, I'm the trouble chairman. I've been in chair since 2003 to present. I just, my brother and I just got reelected last November, so we're in for 3 more years. So we just want to continue that, relation with the county and the city too at the same time, because, we've been here quite some time, and I just want to give you a little history of the tribe itself, because, back in the 1920s, that's when we were called the homeless California Indians. We're the Paiutes, Maiutes, Big Rivers, and Washoes. So EIA purchased some land for us, about 30 acres. And since then, from 30 acres from 1923 till, I would say, late 70s or so, that's when we started acquiring more land. Back in the, I think it was 78 is when my dad approached Harold T. Biz Johnson, congressional rep for this district, and asked him to represent the tribe to introduce a bill to acquire more land for the tribe. The 30 acres, we already pretty much, it's not much for our membership there, the 4 tribes. So then at that point, my dad was working with him, volunteering his time, going down to Sacramento, and then matter of fact, Harold T. Biz Johnson's been coming up here, just kind of saving my dad's trip. And so he was able to get, introduce a bill for 120 acres. BLM was disposing. Matter of fact, here's Ken from BLM. And at that time, they were disposing 120 acres, and so we were able to get that in trust for us. And so now we have homes and homeowner homes, and then we got rental homes, and we're building more homes. And then later on in 2002 is when we acquired more land by Pete Etherin. Came approached the tribe and purchased 875 acres from him. So our land base has grown. So, and then when we went through the BRAC process, and that's when we acquired 72 acres of land out there in Hurlong. And that's with 120 homes and with the administration building. And when we first got into that business, it just seems like, I don't know, especially with the homes out there in Hurlong, it just wasn't up to par. And so we did a lot of renovation out there to bring it up to standards. And right now, I would say we're about 90% occupancy out there in Hurlong. We're really low, probably about 20 to 25% occupancy when we first got the land in trust with the tribe. So, in our endeavors that we have, we started our casino in the mid-90s, and it's been doing well for us. And as a lot of questions are rising around the community is, are you guys going to relocate? Well, yeah, we could possibly relocate, but for the cost of running that type of business, it's millions. And for us to try to relocate, and with the community itself, it's just we're fine where we're at. Because I don't see for us relocating. If we get more land elsewhere, it would be nice, right by a highway because you get the traffic flow. But, for us at the land base, we're doing fine. And just give you a little update, as for our land base now, we're over about 1,200 acres, because we got, the 30 acres, 120, the 875, 72 acres out in Hurlong, and then plus Cradle Valley, that's in fee status, it's in Plymouth County. And then we got some land that was donated to the tribe, back in the probably early 80s or so, that about 80 acres was donated to the tribe, and that's in fee status too. So our land base has grown, and plus our membership has grown too. We're less than 100 members back in, the 70s, and then now we're over 1,000. And our membership is still open for enrollment, through our lineal descent. Before it was, our Constitution stated that you've got to be a quarter Inuit or more. And now with our bloodline, we changed our Constitution in 2005 to make it more lineal. So it gives them more opportunity for the kids, our kids are marrying into, the non-Indians, so our bloodline's getting thinned out. So that's why we want to make sure that, they still have the benefits to the tribe as lineal descent. So, and another business that we have is the Mini Mart. We started that in 2004, and it's doing real well. Tell you a little story about that. When we first started, power went out in the winter, and we had almost 3 foot of snow, and it's like, what are we going to do? It's a good thing that we had a generator, because it really, a lot of people came to us, and our manager goes yelling at the people, the customers, hey, it's Armageddon, because they're taking everything off the shelf, batteries, candles, beer, water, all the necessities, what they need for the house. And I tell you, we had a problem with our trafficking, with the Paul Bunyan Road and the Skyline, because we're right on that corner, and the city police came to us, if we don't control the traffic, we're going to shut you down. I said, well, we're the only place in town that's open, and but we're able to create an emergency response team to manage it and meander through our parking lot, so we won't hold up the traffic on Paul Bunyan and our Skyline. But we still have that problem, but we're the only place in town that has a generator that has at our Mini Mart and the casino too. And it's one thing our management at the casino, Campbell, when he gets to that type of situation, in an emergency situation, is that he'll open up the wheel room and make it a buffet, and just charge at a minimum fee. If you can't pay it, then he'll say, we'll donate it. So we kind of help out in the community in that type of situations. So other ventures, our smoke shop, that we just started that in 2011, which is doing well. We're just selling our native tobaccos. We don't sell the name brands, Marlboro or Camels or anything like that. We have the Mini Mart that supplies all that, and so we're doing well on that. And Aaron's here to give us a little update on the Circo, because we started that in 2008, just going after implementing our policy procedures and where we're going to go from here, because from that point we're looking at, we're at pretty much at capacity as expanding our casino, and we got our hotel, we built our hotel too in 2008, and at that point we're just not sure what's our next step for the casino, because we didn't know what's going to happen, so that's why we ventured into the Circle. And that's going to be our future endeavors into economic development for the tribe. And so, Eric, could give a little update on the Circle.
Do you want to go through your 10-year plan?
No, I pretty much.
Or you already touched bases? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Board Supervisor, Chairman, guests. My name is Aaron Dixon. I'm the Tribal Secretary Treasurer of Facility and Rancheria, and I am also the board president of our tribally owned corporation. 5 years ago, the Tribal Business Council decided that we need to diversify and expand our economic development. And as we obtained a grant through the federal government to set up a higher economic director, and eventually that economic director had a series of, actually years of times of talking to an attorney to set up the policies and procedures to set up our corporation. And as time went on, this process has been going on for 5 years now. And we've been working diligently because of these budget cuts and sequestration and so forth, that we were trying to offset any cuts for our members or for the tribe itself. And so this year is actually 2 years ago. We have a tribal member that is now working in Washington, D.C. He's working with a Bold Concepts, which is a construction company, and we are going after federal contracting with it could be on military bases, it could be with Homeland Security, it could be with whatever federal agency within the federal government. And currently we have received small contracts back in Washington, D.C. We are working with the Corps of Engineers in Maryland and in, I believe, in South Carolina, where we obtained a small grant, a small award, basically for a new company. Of course, we're out there to do our diligence, to introduce ourselves and sell ourselves in regards that we are able to fulfill our obligations if we receive a contract. So Corps of Engineers gave us a small contract, and it has worked its way up to where now we're receiving more and more contracts because we were successful in completing that project. So, and of course, with a new company, they always ask us one question: what's your past performance? Well, we don't have past performance, and so we're building that performance. We are building ourselves, and we are moving on into bigger and better things. And currently, that's just one of the companies. It's construction in Washington, D.C. area. We also ventured off into providing medical staffing for a military base in Texas. And we also obtained another bid in Southern California, in Barstow, at one of the military bases down there. And it's for a 2-year project. And if we're successful, then we're able to continue on with that type of maintenance agreement with the military. What we do is, down in Barstow, we hire roughly 200 employees to work for us as for the corporation. And that maintenance agreement is basically the vehicles that are being into the war zones in Iraq, Iran, or I'm sorry, in Afghanistan. And with those vehicles that come out, they need to be reserviced, and we have the employees in place to hire to do that particular project. And then we put those cars and vehicles back into service again with the military. And we're doing very well. And this is one of our first big contracts that we have with the military, and we're hoping for bigger and better things. We just recently submitted another bid back in Pennsylvania. I believe it's like a $500 million contract. And I think we're find out in October if we're successful. All these are, of course, on bids. And of course, we have to work in the configuration of each job for each employee that's going to be working within the military contract. We have to submit our bid, our proposals, and also for future, for overtime, for whatever the case may be. So we're very actively in submitting and making contacts with various people within the organization of the federal government. We also have a Terra Solution Company, which is based out of Concord, California. It's an environmental group. And we're at the stage of, I think, within the next couple of weeks, we'll find out if we're approved as an 8A contract. Our first 8A contract that we submitted took us about 14 months to be certified as an 8A company. Well, now we're getting down to the point where we have it down to less than 10 months to be approved as an 8A company. So we are working with other companies to help us along. But we're also, at the same time, once we become experienced and gain that knowledge, then we're also establishing our own companies for our own corporation. So there is companies that work with us, and then there's companies that we are the sole owner. So we have come a long ways to expand us. But at the same time, we also are, when we're out there talking to other companies, we would like to bring that company here to Lassen County to set up shop. and we want to develop the Hurlong area because that's the area that we need to focus on.
Right now, we do have established a company out in our administration building out there in Hurlong, and that's manufacturing containment fuel area, canvas type materials. So we're starting that, and right now we're on hold. We're just waiting on that company, so coming up forward on that. So that's something we want to really endeavor into as Lassen County. And I know you guys have been working on the land issue, putting out the bid and all that, but, as a tribe, we're going through the process through the BRAC, and we really appreciate it if we could, endeavor into that type of situation as a, government transfer to the tribe and working collaboratively on the issue of economic development down in Hurlong. Because that's one of our major initiatives is out there in Hurlong, is creating jobs and business, for the community.
Yeah, we've shared our vision for Hurlong, and I think that I still think that there are some good things that can happen down there. And I think we announced earlier today that Pizzulo and Smith, we're in negotiations with them based on the RFP responses. But we continue to look forward to partnering with you down there. You've also had some transportation, Stacy. I think you provide transportation not only to tribal members, but to others to go to Reading and stuff like that. I mean, I think those are the kind of things that the community needs to share in. But I mean, I think there are a lot of little things. Your Indian Health Center, for instance, I think you take outside clients there as well. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Because as our health clinic, we do open it up to the community.
Right.
It's not just for tribal members, but we do, tell our tribal members to come, to our facility. But, it's just our tribal members are going, throughout the community too, not just at our clinic, but they go elsewhere, so. But, and as for the transportation, we acquired a grant that transport down to Reading and Red Bluff area at no cost. It's just we're just going off the grant that we got. Eventually, we'll be getting a bus pretty soon too.
Yes.
I'm not sure when that is. That's something that we have to touch base with our public works, and we do have that for the community. I think what we do is I'll get hold of our public works department and share the information with the county and the city.
That'd be great.
Because I do get those calls too, from Reading and say, hey, do you transport? Do you go back up? But that's the thing is first come, first serve because sometimes it's overwhelming.
Because we're also trying to expand not only just the transportation to Reading or Red Bluff and Reading, we're also trying to make a transportation plan to go to Reno also.
As I said, if we coordinate that, Jim, with the transit agency and so on, we talked about it there, the transit agency, because we're always a little short on some of that out of town.
Especially going to Reading and Red Bluff. There seems to be, you got the MoDOT stage that comes down and goes through here on the way to Reno, so people do have some connectivity there.
But I think the convenience of that for appointments gets to be, if I'm not, I think I'm remembering the scheduling is a little difficult. Anyway, those are the kind of partnerships, I think.
I think if you have, even if it was somewhat duplicative of other efforts, I think and you stagger it, I think you create the opportunity, enhances the ability for the community to get where they need to go. So that's
what the partnerships
are. I'm totally in favor of that.
The other aspect too is that we are thinking about expanding our medical facility, building a new facility, but in addition to that, we also want to construct a dialysis center also, so that we'd be locally here.
That would be good news for many.
The Vita's been looking at that, but I think partnering with a group like that, I think if they had somebody who would be willing to.
Leno's been working on that real hard.
We've been talking with DeVito also.
I think that would be outstanding.
That'd be a great service.
Because with our new chief operating officer, she's looking at a site for us. With the 875 that we purchased from Hepburn is that we're looking at there, but we just don't have the infrastructure of the water. Well, we have the water, but we just don't have the sewer, and that's our problem right there.
Any other board members have any questions, comments?
I just have one thing, and I appreciate Mr. Dixon being here, and appreciate the years of when I went to school over there. I mean, we go back a long ways, and I've always enjoyed my relationship with the members of the tribe, and so I have a huge respect for them. But one thing I think that they never get enough praise on in terms of being a community supporter of numerous events. There's all kinds. There's fundraisers. When some issue comes up, somebody's in need or has some sort of a medical condition or some sort of a hardship, financial hardship, whatever, invariably the feeds that are put on up there at the casino that raises tens of thousands of dollars happens in large part because I think the work that the tribe has supported. And one of the areas that I've worked in as a community thing has been the Junior Fishing Derby, and next year we'll be celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Derby, the first one, so it's been a long-running event. And I would say that the tribe has been one of the key financial partners that have come to the forefront. And even though they have some limits on what their grants are, they seem to, for whatever reason, waive that. And I want you to know how much those folks who worked on the Derby appreciate the support they've had from the tribal office, from the casino, from the mini mart. I mean, it's the partnerships that are there, and it's not an insignificant sum of money. It's a good chunk of change. So we appreciate that, and we'd like to give them another shout out on that fashion. So they seem to always be there when the community needs it. And I think that's something that shouldn't be underestimated or underappreciated.
That's one thing too, is the staff that works down at the casino, they volunteer their time. It's not during their work hours.
And the food oftentimes gets donated, but you have to have a place to do it, and you have to have kind of a focal point, and you guys have created that focal point, I think, in the community, and a lot of people do appreciate that effort. So,
matter of fact, there's another benefit that's going to be coming up in September to help out with the travel costs for the employee up there. So.
yeah.
Anybody else in the support have any questions, comments? Audience have any questions or comments? Oh, I'm sorry.
I forgot to introduce our tribal member, Elder Madeline McIntyre.
Hi, my name is Madeline McIntyre. I'm really glad to be here and talk to everyone. But as we were talking earlier, as the sheriff was talking, we do have some issues in the community with the jail and everything. But I'm here because I want to promote one of the preventive programs that the tribe does have available to the community. We have, it's within our Tribal Council of California, and Stacy and the rest of the council member Aaron have appointed me as a task force person for domestic violence and cultural competency. And I am very, very proud that I am available to give this training to any county, any private industry. Right now, it's a complimentary training. I don't know how long that will be, just like everyone else. But this is part of preventive and how we as natives will work with the community, because we did have a program, a training 2 years ago, and we invited a lot of people from the social services. And not only did we meet people on the outside from the community with social services, they got to meet each other. We all combined, we got connected, and we knew who to meet in case there was a problem. So I want to let you know that the tribe is a leader in getting people connected and networking with each other. And I'm very proud to be in this position that they have assigned me to. Thank you.
Thank you, Madeline. Your appointment by Stacy and the rest of them will ensure its success, I'm sure.
We're proud of that.
Yeah, good congratulations. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments?
If I can, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
just from the public safety side, a lot of people don't know, the tribe also hosts every 6 months a law enforcement meeting for both the local, we participate, the city police, the district attorney's office, but they also are able to get the U.S. Attorney's Office and the California Attorney General's Office up here at least every 6 months. It gives us a chance to sit down and talk about law enforcement specific topics that affect the community, and then liaise with some of those folks out of Sacramento that we don't always get a chance to see. And they host that at the casino. It's very well attended. It's an important chance for us to all get together and talk about local issues and then even statewide issues. And not on top of that, we're still working. We have a ton of issues with public safety communications right now. The FCC made some changes that really hampered our radio communications. We're working hard to improve that. And the tribe was gracious enough to allow us to test a site up off of Tacony to see if we could put a site or repeater up there. And unfortunately, because of interference, that's not going to work. But we're working this week trying to explore a site off of the hotel. And that's just something else that they do as a good neighbor and a good partner to us to really hopefully expand our communications. There's a real shadow area up there off of that tabletop from Cherry Terrace all the way across Skyline North. It's tough to hit because Schaefer Mountain can't see it. And they've been working hard with us to try and give us another option to light that area up and really improve our communications, both for us and the city. So since they're here, I just wanted to take a chance to thank them in front of the board for those efforts.
Anybody else enjoy it? Oh, Violet, I'm sorry.
Are you still an independent nation?
Yes, we're sovereign.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Then you're not under martial law, right?
No.
That's what nobody understands. They're starting to move in when you start talking about police in jails. It's the martial law.
I'd say, for like Mr. Chairman, if I may on that point, at a meeting in Sacramento here not too long ago, within the last couple of years, that issue kind of came up, and I even had advocated to the dismay of some at the room that we were going to get the tribe folks to annex the whole county, and that we'd become a sovereign county. We could, declare ourselves independent from Washington and Sacramento. And they thought I was serious. And when I came back and proposed the idea to Stacy, he's kind of going, "You can't be serious." But I tell you, there may be a time when you may want to pursue that. So.
Iona, you had your hand up back there, please.
Yes, I did. First, I want to say is that as long I want to thank you guys for making everyone realize that you're really here, because and see what you're doing with the community is one of the things that I've often wondered is why I haven't seen you enough here at the board over the years. And I think for you coming here and give us that input is just great. It seems like you're doing a lot of business. Probably one of the biggest entities, the SRI, in Lassen County, and I'm amazed when I see what you've done in the last, 25 years. You've really come out. I used to see when my son was going to high school here, my youngest boy, at 4, and I would never see any of you in high school. And I knew you existed, type thing. It's just that you were so quiet. I just want to congratulate you on what you've done and that you're supposed to be seeing. I want to ask another thing in reference to what it says about a sovereign nation. And you do a lot of charitable work for this community. But also, being a sovereign nation, is there any, you're not taxed, are you, by the federal government or the state?
The state is the only one that we don't tax. As for
sales tax?
federal taxes, yeah, we pay our dues on that.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay, I didn't know for sure if that's how that worked. If you're a sovereign nation, you really don't have to do that, do you? I mean, as far as
No, we
gasoline-
do. We do have to comply on federal laws.
Oh, but not state law.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
And then on the education part, that's one thing my brother and I has been really working on with our high school, our junior high and elementary, is trying to, work on what is our deficiency in those areas, and so we could work on them and to improve, with our kids to go up to the next level. Because once when they get to the high school, they just kind of they just drop out.
That's exactly right. I remember talking to a person by the name of Louise Camacho, and she was Head Start
Right.
type thing, and I played golf, a lot of golf with her.
Uh-huh.
And she would be so involved in the Head Start program, and she loved it. But then